This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No. Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Welcome to DBL. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Tori is out again, so I am filling in, and I was just ranting a little bit about school for children.
It just hit me. Before the show started, we were having the rent is too damn high conversation.
Yeah.
Like, we were really like, everything is out of control with the prices. Not the stories we're covering today.
Not the stories we're covering today, but in a similar situation,
about.
some tragedy happened, and we're kicking things off with a teacher who's being hailed a hero. So a Virginia elementary school teacher was shot by one of her students on Friday on purpose. Get this, he was just 6 years old. So is my son, currently in school. That's how the stories relate. Police say he showed the gun, pointed it at her, and fired, with the bullet going through her hand and then hitting her chest. She is currently stable but still in the hospital after being shot. The teacher escorted the rest of her students out of the class and to safety. Police say the gun was owned by his mother and was legally purchased, but here's the question. What should happen to a 6-year-old, number one? I have so many questions. And should there be charges against the parents or the mother specifically for not having this gun locked up?
And you just mentioned that your son's sick.
Yes.
How are you feeling about
Okay,
this?
so Erica, we talked a little bit about before the show and in the meeting. I can't fathom my son getting a real gun, right? In my home, this is what we do. When we have toy guns pointed at his brother or us, I'm like, you don't point guns at people. It's a plastic gun, let alone a real gun. I can't imagine him, and I don't know if you guys have shot guns or out there. It's not easy. You shoot it, it kicks. I can't imagine my son having a 6-year-old knowing to take the safety off, whether it was on or off, pointing it at someone and actually shooting it with accuracy.
Well,
it still doesn't compute in my mind.
You know, Jeff, you're at the shooting. My idea is the day before, he must have had this idea at some point hours before this. A 6-year-old, their mind is everywhere. They're watching cartoons, they want cereal, they're tired, they're getting ready for school, they don't feel like getting dressed, they don't want to get in the shower. There's all these things. But for a 6-year-old to maintain that I am going to shoot my teacher, which probably was a thought that he had the day before.
Follow the steps.
Because of something that happened. That means he went home, interacted with people the entire night, had dinner, went to bed, got up that morning, still with that thought in his head, a 6-year-old, and then found the gun, removed it, and then carried out and executed his plan. I don't know if a 6-year-old could organize building a fort with 2 other kids, much less an attempted murder, Erica. I don't understand how we got here, how a 6-year-old could even know that that was something that you could do.
Well, I think that that's part of the problem. These kids, the society has expedited far greater than our minds can wrap around at all.
True.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me that a 6-year-old was able to shoot a gun, especially, I mean, they said this was a 9mm. Not all guns have that same type of torque or kick or whatever, you know. And I don't know the actual details of, you know, was the gun already up on, you know, there was the safety off, was it not? I don't think that matters at this point.
Right.
I think what matters is that the game is being changed. And I say game like not lightly. I'm just saying that in our society, we have not caught up with where we need to catch up in order to keep us all safe, including this child. Who's responsible?
Yes, that's the question.
I would have to say the parents are responsible.
And we've talked about this.
When are we going to, and you say it all the time, when are we going to get to a place where the parents are equally as culpable for some of these tragedies that have been taken out or brought out by their children? A 6-year-old shouldn't have any access to a gun, period, to even have this conversation.
Yeah, I mean, if we can't have responsible gun laws, which no one can agree on, something has to happen to people that aren't responsible gun owners.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't just let your 6-year-old go in your purse and take a gun that you don't know about and then somehow get him to school without you seeing it.
Yeah,
it doesn't compute.
Really quickly, Jeff, before we move on, if you had a dog that got out, that you did not properly leash or contain in your yard, and it got out and it mauled somebody, you would be responsible.
Yes.
Well, in this case, your dog was removed from your purse and taken by your kid to school, and it mauled somebody. So it should be the same type of thought process when we go about punishing people like that. If you are going to have a dog that is a vicious attack dog, or you are going to have a firearm, there's a responsibility that comes with that. You just can't be like, man, that's crazy, my bad on that. We need to start having punitive and real damages in terms of going forward, because that's sadly the only thing that makes people react.
That's a great example. All right, speaking of kids, Seattle Public Schools filed a lawsuit last week, all of them. It's against the parent companies of all the big social media platforms. They're trying to hold them accountable for the harm their products are doing to their kids' mental health. They say social media platforms are designed specifically to make kids spend more and more time on them, potentially making them addictive. The companies have responded, mostly highlighting all the safety measures they keep, of course, to keep the kids safe, including time limits and removing harmful topics. I've been talking about this for a while. I think this is a conversation that's going to start taking off because, of course, they responded that way. But the truth is, there's facts in the stats. Teenage girls' suicide has gone up since the invention of social media. And the more they're on it, the more likelihood of harm, mental health coming their way.
You know, I mean, we do have, and just to present both sides,
Yes.
we do have research, because the Pew Research Center did say 46% of teen social media users felt overwhelmed by the drama and cyberbullying on social media apps. 26% felt worse about their own life due to what they saw on social media. Now, we cannot deny that. However, I'm 41. We did not grow up in a social media world, and I was still bullied. I still had anxiety issues. I still had issues with the idea of like interpersonal communications. All of those things. That, to me, is being said, I feel very uncomfortable with a school district coming after social media platforms. Y'all got your own issues, as we just opened the show with. I would much rather prefer that everyone, and I do understand everyone needs to be held accountable, but I feel like it's passing the buck. What's happening in your school? Have you solved your bullying and hazing problem? Have you solved issues with children who feel marginalized or not protected or not even given the proper tools in order to get an education? I want people to really make sure that their side of the street is clean before we start launching attacks on other sides of the street. Not saying that they are clean, just saying that I want to make sure your side's clean first.
That's a great point, because I'm completely on the school district side. So you made an interesting point to, you know, shift my thinking a little bit, because she's right.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. I think the issue with phones, Erica, and the internet, and I think about a young me, I wasn't bullied, but you know what? I wasn't anything. I was very malleable at that point. And if I had looked at my phone and saw that, oh, Jeff and Erica got invited to that party, we were in the same class, why didn't I go? It's the mental that hangs over you. For us, it stopped, even the bullying stopped at 310. You know, you were able to have some kind of life.
Right.
But what about if every time you checked your phone, right before you went to sleep, somebody was making fun of your haircut?
Yeah.
Somebody's making fun of, like, that your family's poor. Somebody's making fun of, hey, I'll see you tomorrow at 7 a.m. So now you have that dread. I think it's the 24/7 occasion of the bullying and the anxiety that we're dealing with now, that the kids don't get a chance to shut off and go fishing or play baseball and check out of the world. They never get a chance to leave this adult world, and I think the adult problems are starting to manifest at such a young age. We really don't even have the wherewithal or even the data to know how to deal with it.
Yeah, it's a problem. And as Erica said, there are other problems that we need to clean up first. But if we don't get a control of this now, which it's already out of control, at some point you can't put the genie back in the bottle.
Right. Absolutely.
Coming up on DBL, our interview with Marlee Matlin. She's telling us all about her directing debut, plus President Trump faces questions after classified documents. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say Trump?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trained over here. I'm trained. President Biden faces questions after classified documents from his time as VP are discovered. Is this different than Trump's Mar-a-Lago raid? There we go.
It's a new year, and DBL is all the talk.
Let's get it going.
We had a lot to talk about last year,
I'm flexing every day.
and we're not stopping in 2023.
I'll see you guys on the flip side.
We're live.
Welcome to Jersey.
I'm eating Sour Patch Kids.
I'm gonna go just check this out.
That's Erica. That's my last vice is the sour gummy bears. Like we're a little short-staffed today, and so I wanted to make sure I was here on time. If we were at full capacity, I would have just been 4 minutes late and gotten some sour gummy bears because I need them. That's the only thing I want. I don't have any other vices. I just want my sour gummy bears. It's the little things in life.
Hey,
Yes.
that's where we are. You know, it is the little things. I wanted to talk about the social media conversation because I want to be very clear. I do think it's very important that social media apps and companies are held responsible for their part contributing to all of this. But I just feel so uncomfortable with people being like, it's all social media's fault. Like, that seems to be like the rallying cry. And it makes me kind of feel some type of way because if you get especially adults or, parents and they're like, this is social media's fault. But you are also contributing to said social media. This is what drives me crazy. You have people who are on social media absolutely proclaiming to have a life that they do not have. They are not in any way affecting anyone who actually legitimately has that life. What they're doing is affecting people who want that life and don't understand that they're just faking the funk. And it creates this entire cycle of people who are going after this life of smoke and mirrors. Yeah. I'm only telling you this because I started my comeback podcast and all of that because I had that life actually demise and dissipate in front of my eyes. So I know it when I see it. And I think it's very unhealthy and it's adults who are contributing to it. And now it rolls down to the kids.
Yeah, here we are.
Welcome back. So the Department of Justice is reviewing a small number of documents marked as classified. They were found at a think tank founded by President Biden. The documents were from his time as VP. The White House said they are cooperating. Meantime, former President Trump, who is currently under investigation for the classified documents that were recovered from his home, posted this. He said, when is the FBI going to raid the many homes of Joe Biden, perhaps even the White House? Here's what Marjorie Taylor Greene had to say about it last night on Fox. Take a look.
And Merrick Garland and the Department of Justice, they have to be held accountable if they don't treat Joe Biden exactly the same way they're treating President Trump.
So, Al, are these situations similar or not?
They're similar.
Right.
Absolutely. There were documents that should not have been in this person's possession or in anybody's possession that wasn't in a classified holding area, I'm assuming, as far as I know about classified documents. They're different in that, Trump's people initially, there was obstruction. They said, we've given you all the documents we have. And then it turns out that there was more documents. And it seems like there's a difference in the number of documents. Yes. What I don't see a difference in is the investigations. I think that this will be investigated, and to some end, the Trump investigation will go, but to some end. But I don't think we're going to see anybody go to jail. I don't think we're going to see anybody lose their status in Congress. What it's going to turn into is a political gotcha. You got us, we got you. And really what I see happening, Erica, is just the American people losing faith in our government, that people are leaving classified documents laying around in retirement resorts or at prestigious universities. Either way, these are important documents. They were marked classified by somebody for some reason. And it's all fun and games until we hear, hey, an American outpost randomly got bombed. Maybe it wasn't so random. So these are the things that we need to think about now and going on in the future. People have these documents because they have some kind of power or weight on them that they can be used in the future. They're not keeping around old fantasy football scores. There's a reason that people are holding on to these, and it's for leverage in some kind of way. So that's what I worry about.
I appreciate the political got you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's honestly, I think that sums up everything. It's kind of like,
100%.
You're a parent and you're constantly telling your child to lock the door. It's a security issue. And then they catch you that one time not locking the door.
That's a perfect analogy.
And it's like, well, now we all are responsible for this. It's like, yeah, but I caught you 99 times. This is one. I understand it's the same thing, but at the same time, it's different volumes. So I mean, I just thought that was the best way to put that.
Yeah, it is. The number of documents is definitely different. I think there's hundreds of Trump documents, and I think there's only like 10 whatever of Biden's.
Right.
And also the White House is cooperating as opposed to Trump kind of not.
He's trumping it up.
He's not.
He's not going to
But you're right.
out.
You're right. Is this a political gotcha? Is this something that they're like, this is really serious? Like, should we be serious about leaving classified documents around? Or is this like something that they're like, we're just coming after you because we want to, because you came after our
And when
side.
there's an argument
And that's what
online,
I hate about politics. I can't take it. All right. So speaking of Marjorie Taylor Greene, should I call her MTG?
Yeah.
Okay. No. She is battling it out with Dr. Dre right now because of a video she released this week that was set to his song Still Dre. So if you need a little reminder, here it is.
My last album was The Chronic. They want to know if he still got it. They say raps changed. They want to know how I feel about it. You ain't up on pain. Dr. Dre is the name. I'm ahead of my gang.
Wow, brought me back to high school.
Man.
She used Dre's music without his permission and is now threatening to sue in response. Marjorie Taylor Greene called out Dre, telling TMZ, quote, "While I appreciate your chord progression, I would never play your words of violence against women and police officers and your glorification of the thug life and guns."
Wow.
This was all a ploy. She wanted some smoke so that we could talk about her. To me, I could say some things, but I'm not allowed to say it on television. So.
But it just looking out, why would you use someone's music if you feel that strongly about it? Why would you use his music as a background?
Because she thought she could get away with it. We can end the segment right there. She thought she could get away with it. Drake called her out, so she had to be like, I didn't want it anyway. That's really what it is. It's a great song. I would try too.
It is a great song. It is a great song.
It's still not.
All right, we'll be right back.
The Mega Millions jackpot is more than $1 billion, with the cash option prize expected to be more than $568 million. The prize is now the third largest in Mega Millions history. That's got people racing to buy tickets, but as you try to get rich quick, be careful because scammers may be trying to get rich off of you. Let's verify. Are there lottery scams around large jackpots like the one in Mega Millions? Our sources are Mega Millions, Powerball, the Better Business Bureau, and the Federal Trade Commission. Scammers have a history of targeting people who play lottery games, including Mega Millions and Powerball. On its website, Mega Millions warns of one particular tactic, a phone call, text, or email informing that you've won and asking for either payment or your personal information to claim the prize. And you don't have to buy a ticket to be scammed. Mega Millions also warns scammers could claim to be past winners looking to share their money in exchange for information. Both Mega Millions and Powerball say they do not reach out to prize winners. The FTC and the Better Business Bureau say signs of a scam include being asked for personal information or to send money to pay fees or taxes on the prize. So, yes, there are lottery scams, particularly around large jackpot games like Mega Millions. Our sources recommend contacting your state's Attorney General and the FTC if you think you've been scammed. You can report scams to the FTC by going to reportfraud.ftc.gov. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Welcome back to DBL. She won an Oscar when she was just 21, and that was just the beginning of her amazing career. For more than 30 years, she's been breaking down barriers and fighting for representation. Earlier, we spoke with Marlee Matlin and her interpreter, Jack Jason. Before we begin, Marlee, I just casually over your shoulder, your Oscars sitting there. Is that where you keep your Oscar, or is that just for DBL?
It's where I keep my Oscar most of the time, especially when my kids and their friends come over and they've never seen one, so I sort of bring it out and say, take a picture. Your mom and dad are going to be impressed.
I love the honesty. I love it.
That is so cool. Never mind the Oscar. You've also had an amazing 2022. So I want to know, what are your goals or wishes for 2023?
2023, my goal is for it to be more productive, more work for deaf people, and more directing jobs for me, perhaps.
We love it. We love to watch your journey.
Good health is important at the end of the day.
Yes, absolutely. Well, let's talk about Henry Winkler, because he has been on our show several times, and he's a mentor of yours. So you even lived at his home at one point. What's Henry like at home?
I can see 30 years of a friendship. No, it's actually more than 30 years. It's a lot more. My math is bad, but I met him when I was 12 years old, and we kept in touch all those years, and I'm 57. But anyway, he is the coolest person on the face of this earth. He has been a friend, a second father. He's just an amazing guy who always has an answer for everything.
Okay, well, you know, you won an Oscar as an actress in 1987, and your film Coda won an Oscar last year. So I have to ask you, and this is a tough choice, which win was more emotional? Because I can't imagine.
Well, I mean, you're talking about getting an Oscar when you're 21 years old. So you're connecting with all those emotions and, you know, that, and now you're talking about emotions that are connected with being a 57-year-old. I could say that I appreciate the fact of the Oscar much more this time because it did so much more for the community than my win as a single actor. Now we're talking about 3 actors, and I think it was just everybody coming together and supporting each other that was so emotional for me for Coda last year. We're really, you know, clued into accessibility. We're talking about inclusivity. We're talking about more representation. Coda just really blew open the doors. It's just a whole different experience from when back then and now.
So Marley, you had an amazing career already. You're still climbing that ladder. The TV show Accused is your first time stepping behind the camera as a director. What was the biggest challenge you faced?
The biggest challenge as a director was to be able to show that I was going to be there on time. I had to be on time. I had to make sure I was there. It was an interesting challenge for me because I could say 99% of the time I was on time every day on set. That was great. 12 hours, 13 hours a day, everything went smoothly. I was very proud of myself. It was one of the things I was so most proud of. But no, actually, it was a great experience working with everybody on the set, working from, you know, with the cast, with the crew, with Howard Gordon, with Sony, with Fox, with the writers. It was just an amazing experience. And I'm so glad that this is my first directing experience. It turned out so well.
And I need to ask, why did you choose Accused as your directing debut?
I didn't really choose it. I was offered it to direct it, and I chose to say yes. So yes, your question is correct. Yes, I did choose it. It was just the perfect vehicle. The perfect vehicle to be able to make my directorial debut, having to do with the fact that it told a great and compelling story with deaf characters, a story that hasn't been told on television before, and I think it was an important issue. So it was all perfect. It was all perfect.
Well, Marley, congratulations on your TV directing debut and your friends over your shoulder there.
Yes.
DBL Nation Accused airs on Fox starting on January 22nd, and don't miss an episode. Marley and Jack, thank you so much, as always.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Bryan Kohberger made his first court appearance in an Idaho courtroom on January 5th after he was accused of killing 4 college students 2 months earlier. Leading up to his arraignment, social media users began sharing Reddit posts that they claim were written by the suspect. The posts say, "I am inviting you to participate in a research project that seeks to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision-making when committing a crime." The poster identified himself as Bryan Kohberger, and the posts were shared in subreddits like ex-cons and prisons. So, let's verify. Did Bryan Kohberger write the posts on Reddit asking for help researching why people commit crimes? Our sources are court documents filed in Latta County District Court in Idaho, DeSales University, and a review of Internet archives of Reddit using the Wayback Machine. The posts on Reddit appeared in June and have since been removed from the platform. During Kohberger's arraignment, prosecutors introduced an affidavit written by Moscow, Idaho police, which confirmed the Reddit posts were made by Kohberger. Using the Wayback Machine, we were able to look at the original post. They included a DeSales University email address for Brian Koberger. DeSales confirms Koberger was a student there until 2022, where he earned his bachelor's in psychology and a master's in criminal justice. So, yes, Brian Koberger did post on Reddit asking for help researching why people commit crimes. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
The two most popular COVID vaccines in the U.S., Pfizer and Moderna, are both what are known as mRNA vaccines. mRNA stands for messenger ribonucleic acid, and it's a critical component of cell function. Verify viewer Scott said he heard the mRNA in the COVID-19 vaccine can stay in your body a long time after you get the shot. So is that true? Let's verify. Our sources, the CDC, the National Library of Medicine, University of Missouri Healthcare, Nebraska Medicine, and Stuart Ray, an infectious diseases professor at Johns Hopkins. mRNA acts as a set of instructions telling cells how to make certain proteins. Ribosomes, the protein-making machines inside the cells, use those instructions. Once they're done making the protein, they discard the instructions, which then naturally break down. Now, the way a traditional vaccine works, you get a weakened version of a virus. Then your immune system is easily able to defeat it, and in the process forms antibodies for it. So the next time you're exposed to that virus, your body can quickly recognize and kill it. mRNA vaccines work similarly, but instead of the whole virus, you just get the instructions for one of the virus's proteins. Your ribosomes create a little bit of that protein, which by itself is harmless, and the immune system quickly recognizes that the protein is foreign and creates antibodies for it. Then the ribosome discards the instructions, the mRNA, just like it does for anything else it makes. All our sources say once discarded, the mRNA breaks down usually within a few hours, a few days at most. It's actually a pretty fragile substance, which is why the vaccine has to be handled carefully and kept cold. Dr. Stuart Ray told us, quote, "We know from many decades of work that mRNA is short-lived, among the least persistent of the macromolecules in our body. In no instance have we found mRNA that lasts for a long time in living tissue." So we can verify no. mRNA from the COVID-19 vaccine does not stay in your body a long time. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
Welcome back. Flexibility is important when it comes to staying active as you get older. It's easy to develop aches and pains that might get in the way of your exercise routine. It's time for some joint and muscle support brought to you by Omega XL. Here are some stretches to stay flexible. First, try shoulder rolls and arm circles. Stand and lift your shoulders up and rotate them back in a circle with your arms by your side. Next, bend sideways and reach up with your opposite arm as high as you can. Everyone in the studio is doing it. After reaching up, reach all the way down towards your toes to increase your range of motion. Omega XL has improved the lives of millions of consumers, supported by 30 years of clinical research. Omega XL's powerful and proven benefits have transformed the lives of athletes, celebrities, and dedicated daily users. Call 800-813-6801 or visit OmegaXL.com for more information. Before we go, we got to give a big shout out to the Georgia Bulldogs.
Right.
They beat TCU 492-6 yesterday. So congratulations to the Bulldogs, the new national two-time champions.
Bye.